On this episode of Trend Chat, we are live here in Illinois, and we're going to have interviews from the Young Women's Leadership Summit. We have Marissa Streit, the PragerU CEO, Antonia Okator with Empower, and Keely from Eagle Rising. So stay with us and stick around. Welcome everybody to another episode of Trend Chat. I'm your host Brian Bledsoe, and if you want to reach out on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, it's all the same name, Trend Chat 24/7. And I write for politichicks.com. If you'd like to read some of my articles, just go to politichicks.com/author/Brian Bledsoe. And speaking of Politichicks, don't forget about the brand new book, Politichicks, a clarion call to political activism, which is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Has over 300 pages from different contributors like myself from Politichicks, talking about different issues, different subjects, whether it's education, healthcare, politics, activism. Actually, that's where my article about being a delegate at the Republican National Convention last year. So, yeah, I implore everyone to get a copy. I mean, I said it every episode, but I'm just saying it. I think you will get a lot out of it, especially if you're looking in as far as political activism. So now, and also, well, let me go ahead and mention this now. So, the Founder Project. We talked to Maggie Dine a couple of weeks ago about the Founder Project, and so I'm not going to really get too much more about it. I will implore you to go to the episode. Like I said, a couple of weeks ago, and I still cannot remember what the episode number, but it is the episode where I talked about the disruption at the Texas Capitol, and that's when we talked to Maggie Dine. And so, yeah, and plus, in the graphic, it shows the Founding Project, so it's not that hard to find. But if you want to learn more about the Founding Project, one, I would say go to the Facebook page and go just type in the Founding Project, and you should find some details there. And listen to the podcast where we talked with Maggie Dine for a couple of minutes. So like I said, I'm here in Illinois and just getting ready to get into some of the interviews that we had at the Young Women's Leadership Summit. And like I said, we're going to talk with Marissa Streit, the PragerU CEO, and also with Antonia Okator. Now, also, we are live right now. Now, I was planning on being live on Facebook and Twitter, but Facebook wasn't acting right, so I'm just live on Twitter right now. So hello, everybody on Twitter. And so I am doing a stream on Twitter, and I kind of wanted to do both just to see how one works and if both of them will work, and how this, because I got like 5 different things going on here. I got 2 tablets, a laptop, and my phone all going on. So I just want to get into this before I get into the interviews, because this is the part that's actually going to be streamed. So now let's get into what happened today as far as the Senate health care bill, which is called the Better Care Reconciliation Act. And basically it's supposed to be an improvement of what the House passed a couple of weeks ago. And so now all the texts came out about that, and it's being analyzed. Everyone's seeing what's what, and It's going to get its CBO rating probably sometime next week and whatnot. But regardless of all that, I just want to read page 36 of a document that should be basically influencing everything the Republicans are, like, whatever's on their agenda. And when I say that, I'm talking about page 36 of the GOP platform that was passed last year. You know, as I said, I was a delegate at the convention, so I was there when this was all being put together. So let me read the first part of this. This is, so page 36 under restoring patient control and preserving quality in healthcare. Okay, it says, any honest agenda for improving healthcare must start with repeal of the dishonestly named Affordable Care Act of 2010, Obamacare. So that right there talks about repeal. That's not what's going on with this bill. If anything, it's basically just being, like I said, it's being fixed. It's not being repealed. So I just bring that up. And now let me skip down a little bit, a couple more sentences. And look, if you think I'm cherry picking some of these sentences, I would say go to just Google GOP platform and you can see it for yourself. So and you can read the whole paragraph. I'm just going to read a couple sentences. So I'm going to go down to this next one. We agree with the 4 dissenting judges of the Supreme Court. Quote, in our view, the entire act before us is invalid in its entirety. So if it's invalid in its entirety and you agree with those 4 dissenting judges, why are you not repealing Obamacare with this bill, whether in the House and now with the Senate? So I'm just reading for the platform. And that's all I'm saying. Could you just at least follow the platform? Honestly, for me, I think it could go a little bit further. But, okay, but we have a platform. All right, fine. Let's at least go there. But, you know, unfortunately, that's not what they're looking to do. They're not doing any sort of full repeal, any sort of repeal of Obamacare. It's all about basically kind of like where a lot of senators, a lot of congressmen are basically like, well, let's just fix what some things in Obamacare and basically do nothing or something very marginal. So, and also, just like in the House bill, the Senate bill also has it to where Planned Parenthood is defunded. Oh, hold up. Planned Parenthood is defunded, but for 1 year. Really? 1 year? And so, but by saying that, let me read another part of this platform, which is in the exact same section. And, yeah, let me see. Through Obamacare, the current administration, you know, back in 2016, has promoted the notion of abortion as health care. We, however, affirm the dignity of women by protecting the sanctity of life. Numerous studies have shown that abortion endangers the health and well-being of women, and we stand firmly against it. Okay, that's great. All right, now let's go down a little bit further in the whole section, but in the section under protecting individual conscience in healthcare, and it says this: we call for a permanent ban on federal funding and subsidies for abortion and healthcare plans that include abortion coverage. You know, I'm going to say that one more time. We call for a permanent ban on federal funding. 1 year is not permanent. And as a matter of fact, it's not even close to permanent. It's not even 4 years. It's not even 5, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. No, it's 1 year. That's nowhere. That's almost the least permanent that you can get, as opposed to maybe just doing it for a day. So, you know, I'm not going to get as much into it. I just wanted to bring that up because when I saw the text, when the bill came out and it was released today, and just looking over, it's 142 pages. I'm not saying I read it all, but I skimmed through it and just those things just stood out because it just so clearly things that are not in the platform. So, and it just, now look, the bill in comparison to the House bill is better. Yeah, it's better. It's funny because I was, the name of it is the Better Care Reconciliation Act. So it says BC, oh no, what? Yeah. So it's BCRA. So, and I was just thinking about, when I saw it like that, this is just me thinking, I was thinking like, well, this ought to be called, the Better Care Reconciliation Act parody. And so if you put out the letters of that, I would just say it sounds like it's better crap, because that's what it sounds like. It's not as great, it's not as crappy as the House bill, but it's just better crap than the House bill. And so, yeah, I'm pretty sure, hopefully, like I said, you have Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, Mike Lee, and Ron Johnson, who are already opposed to it now. And so now I guess we're going to get into the negotiations of it all, and we'll just go from there. Hopefully, there's a lot of things that need to be improved and basically taken out. But like I said, this is not what was promised the past 8 years. I'm trying to remember the past 7 years since Obamacare has been implemented. And now they have the opportunity to repeal this, and all of a sudden now they are basically, tucking the tail between their legs and not wanting to actually go forward with this repeal. And, I can't say that I'm fully surprised by it, but the thing about it, every Republican senator, I would say senator. I would just go with senators right now. Every one of them, at one point in the past 7 years, have voted to repeal Obamacare. At one point in time, because obviously they done plenty of votes, and either they didn't pass or whatnot, obviously, or didn't, obviously not going to make pass the President Obama's desk at that time. But at one point, every one of these Republican senators have voted to repeal Obamacare. And now that you have the opportunity to go forward and repeal Obamacare, you sit back and now you want to talk about, let's fix certain parts and this and that. Even if there's parts that that people actually like about Obamacare, even if that, still, why can't you just repeal Obamacare and then put in those ideas in your own plan? Why you want to fix something, fix a Democrat plan, basically? Why can't you just repeal the whole act, the Affordable Care Act, repeal the whole thing? And if there are certain things that you like about Obamacare, put it in your own plan and go from there. But no, that's not what they want to do. So I would say, I guess a couple of episodes, way early episodes. I'm not talking like I've done like 100 episodes. This is just the 40th episode, but I think like in the 20s, I talked about it basically when it was going through the House. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say on that. And that's, for everyone that is watching on Twitter, that's basically all that I can basically go on now, because from here, now we're going to get into the interviews with at the Young Women's Leadership Summit. So first off, we're going to talk with the PragerU CEO, Marissa Streit, and we got a chance to speak with her for a couple of minutes. And I really like PragerU. If you don't know anything about PragerU, she's going to talk about a little bit in the interview. And they have this cool little app now one thing about PragerU, they make these little 5-minute videos talking about different subjects, whether it's talking about school choice or free market principles, a lot of different subjects. and and they break it down to like 4 to 5 minutes, and it's really, really concise, and it's really and informational in that short period of time. And so, yeah, I really dig PragerU, and like I said, so here's our interview with Marissa Streit. Hello, this is Trent. I'm Brian Bledsoe, and we are here with the CEO of PragerU, Marissa Streit. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Yeah, so I've talked about PragerU from time to time on the podcast, but I guess give us a general info as far as PragerU University.
Okay, so before I say anything, I just want to tell you how beautiful the sight of all these women here. I just can't. I'm in awe. It's such a wonderful experience. I mean, we do a lot of work on the digital side of things. We have millions of viewers, and many of them are here, but I don't get to meet them in person. And it's been such an inspiration to actually physically meet people who watch our videos and use our videos and have been touched by our videos, and really have felt like we have armed them with intellectual ammunition, so that they can go and explain the values and ideas that they believe in, but didn't know how to articulate as well as some experts do, which has really been our goal from day one, is to just simplify these concepts that we know are the truth and we know are so important that millions of people would learn about and know about. And by simplifying them, we're enabling a whole generation to learn concepts that they would otherwise not get exposure to.
Yeah, and I definitely enjoy all the videos, and they're like around 4 to 5 minutes, and I have the app as well, and every time I actually sign up for the text alerts and everything. I really enjoy PragerU University and all the videos and everything that comes with it. So one thing I want to mention, like I know you mentioned about being here, and once again, we're here at the Young Women's Leadership Summit, and so I just want to ask you, what do you think about the event so far?
The event is an absolute inspiration. It's an inspiration to see how successful Turning Point USA is, and it's an inspiration to hear how many students are using our videos and are empowered by them. And I just have more hope for America, knowing that this organization is doing as well as it's doing. We've partnered with them this year. It's a real huge value for both organizations. Charlie Kirk and I describe it as a 2 + 2 = 5 kind of math. It's a funny math, but it's the truth. As we work together, we're really able to shake things up in a major way, which is what this country really needs. And I want to also encourage your audience. We want to know what topics you want us to better explain and to produce more videos. So we've added a new feature to our website where people can go on and recommend either a presenter or recommend a topic, because our goal is to be there for you, and we want to hear from you what answers are needed for which questions.
Okay. And well, since you mentioned that, I don't have anything off the top of my head, but I'll definitely start brainstorming and think of something to send in. But I was thinking about as the theme here has been be bold, be brave, be principled, be a leader. And I guess, how would you encourage other young women who are maybe on the fence as far as wanting to be active to step forward?
Be calm, be clear, educate yourself, be factual, and build relationships with people on all sides.
Okay. And I did want to ask one other question. That now you are the CEO of PragerU, and I just want to ask about about you as far as I guess you say you from UCLA, and so I guess give a little bit about yourself.
I'm an American. I was born in the United States in Los Angeles, California. I lived in Israel for a few years. I served in the Israeli military and the intelligence force. It was then that I became obsessed with technology and realized that technology can be the solution for so many challenges that we face, both in the media and at universities. I went to UCLA. I studied business economics. the most valuable thing I did for my career is actually go and get experience. I never thought I would be doing what I'm doing today, but I got this experience and that experience and got a master's in education and then got an MBA, and then one thing led to another, and here I am today. So that's a little bit about myself professionally. And personally, I'm married. I have 2 children, Aiden and Olivia. They're 2 and 4. As a mom, it's incredibly hard to be away from them. I've been gone for 3 days, and I do travel quite a bit. With a position like mine, it's just is what it is. I need to do it. But I am reminded that PragerU is making a difference, and I'm doing this for my children so that America continues to be the greatest country on this earth. And as they grow up, I just hope that they know that even though I've been away for them, they've been in my heart this entire time, because I'm doing it for them and for their friends and for, the rest of this country.
Well, I would like to say, being here at this event, I would say you are definitely an inspiration to everyone here, and I'm just glad to see, like you said, so many conservative women here, especially young women, and like you said, it definitely gives me hope for the future. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun.
And thanks to Marissa Streit for joining us. And so we're going to get into our next interview. We talked with Keely Sharp, who is a writer and editor for EagleRising.com. And let's go ahead and get to our interview with her. Hello, this is Streit Chat, and this is your host, Brian Bledsoe, and we are pleased to have Keely Sharp, who is the writer and editor of EagleRising.com. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. So basically, just tell us about EagleRising.com.
Okay. So on Eagle Rising, we have compilations of. Well, it's not really compilations, but we have different writers that contribute to the site. So different contributors. I am the main writer for the site as far as original content, and then we have another writer who puts up daily, and then we have other writers who every now and then send them submissions, and we'll put them up. So it's just you can go on there and check it out, and it's just all about freedom and what's going on in America. There's opinion, there's fact. It's all double checked. It's all sourced. You're never going to go on there and see an article that states fact and doesn't have a source to show where we got that from. So we try to make it as accurate as possible, because there's a lot of fake news out there, and we do not want to be labeled as that fake news.
Okay, so we're here at the Young Women's Leadership Summit. So what do you think of the event so far?
It's been great. The speakers have been phenomenal. Carly Fiorina was definitely very, very inspirational as far as leadership goes. That's definitely a speech that I will hold on to for a long time.
Okay. And I know as far as Turning Point, I've been a fan of them for, I guess, as long as they've been, organized. So I guess connections you have with Turning Point, or your opinion of Turning Point?
Okay, so I'm actually pretty new to the political scene as far as writing and such. Before I was writing for Eagle Rising, I was a publisher's assistant and writer for just a local magazine. And then I got into politics around a little over a year ago, I guess. I had opinions, but I was never in the scene, I guess. So Turning Point is actually still very new to me. But from everything I've seen, they're all about freedom, liberty, everything that America stands for. So everything I've seen is just I highly recommend checking them out.
Yeah, and well, I would say as a fellow writer, but I'm not going to try to act like I'm a writer. But I just want to ask you, as far as for writing for a website, and just I guess what are the challenges as far as your articles and just finding content and everything. I'll say this for me. I have told everyone, that knows me on the podcast, I'm not a natural writer, so it takes me like weeks to write maybe one thing. So I just want to ask you, as far as, when it comes to writing, how, what the challenges and I guess the benefits and for it.
Well, I read about 10 to 14 articles a day.
Hold on. 10 to 14? Okay.
It's a very demanding field, so you have to stay on top of it. There's always something going on, even if it's if it's minuscule to the nation, as far as it's not hitting the big media. There's still small town stuff that's going on everywhere. So there might be something headlining mainstream media, in which case everyone's covering it. So in those cases, I'll put up something about it, but the trick is to dig and find a perspective that no one else has hit on yet. For instance, when the whole Kathy Griffin debacle happened with her holding the Trump severed head as what she called art, I did an article, but not on her specifically. I saw where Barron Trump got upset because he thought it was his father. And, I found that when that story was breaking, and I took that and ran with it. You just have to find, the kind of the diamond in the rough of, all right, everyone's covering this aspect of it. What angle can I get that people aren't seeing yet? And that's what you want to write on, because people are going to say, oh, that's different. Let me go check this out, So, and then other than that, whenever there's not a whole lot going on in the big news, or it's just a lot of the same stuff every day, I go and try to pick up local news stories from different places. For example, have you ever heard of the Alaskan Avenger?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so it's very interesting. I picked up that story. It was a local news story in Alaska. And he was molested as a child. He was an older guy. He was molested as a child. And he was looking up the local pedophile registry of sex offenders. And it's not great. He was going with a hammer, and he was beating these sex offenders to death. Of course, a lot of people are like, yeah, that's awesome. This dude, obviously we can't condone going and just killing people, but just stuff like that. It's stuff that it's out there. It's weird, and nobody's heard about it because it's local news stories from all over the country that you don't see in the mainstream media.
Yeah, there's millions of stories out there that are not covered by the mainstream media. So I mean, like you say, you talking about local stories. There's a ton of unique content that is going on in every corner of America. So it's kind of cool that you find those different stories out there. So
the diamonds in the rough is what I like to call them.
Yeah. So now the general question I've asked everyone about being here at the Young Women's Leadership Summit is that the themes here as being bold, being brave, being principled, and being a leader. So what's your advice to encourage more young women who may be on the fence to be more politically active?
What would I say to them to encourage them to be more politically active? I hadn't really thought about that. I guess you have to figure out the problem that you share with other people, and as Carly Fiorina was saying, you have to look at that. People want to solve the problems that are, they're going to work to solve the problems that affect them. So if you have a problem that affects you, go ahead and start working towards fixing that. If not you, then who? I don't know who said that, but that's...
Yeah, it's if not now, when, or something
kind of kind of one of those. And if there's a problem, don't wait around for someone else to fix it. Get up and start working on it yourself.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yep, and thanks to Keely for joining us. And so, I was just thinking about as far as what I was doing with the video streaming. So, but it kind of went half and half. So you had people from Twitter being able to see, but yeah, I just noticed that my mic for my laptop while I was trying to do it on Facebook was not working. So, I've mentioned it before. It's all trial and error, and y'all are basically on the journey with me as far as me learning this and that. So, yeah, so we're kind of figuring out how to do different things. So I guess now I need to learn how to get the mic to work right on my laptop, I guess, if I'm going to try to do some of this again. But so let's get to our last interview, and it is with Antonia Okator. And you'll hear what I say in the beginning of the interview, but so she was the host of the Young Women's Leadership Summit, and so we got a chance to talk with her about hosting the event and about Empowered. So here's our interview with Antonia.
Hello, this is Trent Chat. I'm Brian Bledsoe. We're here at the Young Women's Leadership Summit. And, actually, at this point, we're basically going to call this Trent Chat featuring Antonia Okator because this is the third time having her on. So, but she was the host of the Young Women's Leadership Summit. So I guess we want to talk about that. And Antonia, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
I guess doing all the hosting duties, how was all of that?
It was great. I mean, this was my first time hosting or emceeing an event, and it was just, to me, it was so easy because I got to talk to all these young women who are passionate about what I'm passionate about, and I got to just interact with them, and the energy was great, and I just was part of the process, so it was great to be a part of it. Really thankful for being here.
Now, obviously, you spoke earlier today, and you talked about, about Empowered. So, now, as far as everything, how everything's going with Empowered as far as, momentum and everything? Yeah,
I mean, we've been very blessed. I mean, we just started it a couple months ago, and then we got our 501c3 status, pretty quickly after that. And so now we're just on full speed, getting the Empowered Tour up and running. So after this event, I'm going to speak to other women and talk to them about it and having them sign up. I mean, I think we're well on our way of getting the 30 campuses that we're planning to go and hit this fall. So I'm excited about that just being the next step for Empowered, the Empowered Tour.
Okay, so now I know one thing that recently just came out is that you have like men's shirts out for Empowered. So, so I guess tell us a little bit about that.
Apparently that was waiting. People in the 2A community were like, give me the men's shirts. I want to be a part of it. And I was definitely okay with, having men being a part of it because, we're not like other feminist groups where, they want to exclude men and they don't think that they have any worth when it comes to empowering women. I absolutely reject that notion. And I think it's going to be men and women who are going to empower young women for their Second Amendment rights and to advocate for that. So I'm glad that men's shirts are a part of the whole community now. So with Empowered.
Yes, and I actually, as soon as you made the announcement, I went online and bought one. So I can't wait to get it in the mail, and I'll be I guess, modeling it. I guess
empowered male, empowering women. So yes, love it.
So and also, and talk about empowerment and just empowered. Now the themes here were be bold, be brave, be principled, be a leader. Mm-hmm. What would you say to encourage other young women who are thinking about moving forward but are kind of on the fence as far as just maybe being intimidated? I think I asked you this question before.
Well, you can always. That was also the theme of this conference, is to show that despite the fact that you will feel that way, you'll feel like you're not bold, that you're not brave, that you're not courageous, and sometimes, with the elections, that you're not principled, but we're still fighting a good fight, and that's going to take young women, conservative young women, limited government, free market individuals who believe in those principles, who are going to really advance this movement. We're going to have ups and downs, but in the end, we're all going in the same direction, and we're all in this together. So I think it's going to take conferences like this that's going to re-energize us when we're dealing with a world that's hostile to us. And so I think a lot of the women felt re-energized and ready to keep going and fighting the good fight back on their college campuses. So it was good to be here and be part of that.
Okay, and so as far as Empowered, what things, as far as you're looking to do in the future? I know you mentioned something about having about 30 campuses. I mean, anything in general that you can discuss?
Yeah, so the Empower Tour, we'll be going to college campuses all over the nation, mostly focusing on the campus carry states, the states that have campus carry now. But we'll, it's grown where, people from California, people in New York, people in Boston, Massachusetts, they all want us to come speak there too. And there are places where they've been trying to fight for campus carry for a long time, like Florida and Mississippi and Oklahoma, and they just needed the support and the mobilization to do that. So, we're here to help, and we're here to mobilize those women on these campuses, and I think these women are excited about that. So that's going to be our focus, and whether that's going to just stay in the fall or if it's going to expand into the spring, who knows? We'll be very blessed if it does. But once we have those speaking engagements, we're going to have chapters on those campuses and we'll start those while we're there as well. So that's going to continue the movement and keep it going and keep it strong.
Okay, and this is not really so much a question, but you did a great job hosting. And I also just want to say you are the personification of basically what this summit is about. Because you have taken all the things, all the resources from, like Turning Point or other organizations, and have used it and made it to where now you have empowered now. And so you're a great role model for all these young women to see. And so, yeah, I just, that's just a statement. So I just want to tell you that, because when I saw that you was the host, I'm like, you know what? It can't be a better host, because she's doing everything that this summit is basically telling all the young women, that you can do this, and you are that inspiration for them. So.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm really thankful to Charlie Kirk and founder and president of Turning Point, and them asking me to host and be the MC, and I'm really thankful that they see that, and I hope I was able to inspire other young women as well, and we'll see who the host will be next year, and hopefully it's someone who was here in this audience this year. So it'd be great to continue on that tradition.
Yeah, and so thank you so much for your time, and I'm pretty sure we'll probably talk to you again next month.
Thank you. Definitely. Talk to you later.
Yep, and thanks to Antonia for joining us. And I'm not joking, we probably will be talking with her next month, probably. So this month's June, so next month is the Western Conservative Summit, and also Turning Point has a Young Latino Leadership Summit, which is in July. I think it's July 18th through the 22nd. Don't get me to, lying to you, but you also have the Young Latino Leadership Summit in July. You also have the Atlas Summit. You also have, which is also in the Young Latino Leadership Summit is in Las Vegas. The Atlas Summit is in Las Vegas. Also, Freedom Fest is in Las Vegas, and then the Western Conservative Summit, which is in Denver, Colorado. Now, out of all of that, I don't know exactly where I might be going. I probably go to Vegas for the Atlas Summit, maybe. It just depends on if I'm able to coordinate both. Well, I know that I guess to put it this way, my goal is to get to the Western Conservative Summit. That's the first off. And so after that, if I can fit in everything else, then I'll see if I can, since I'm already will be on the West Coast. So like I said, we'll probably be talking with her again, because one thing about Antonia, she always has something going on, which is great. And so it's not like we'll be talking about something, talking about the same thing. We'll be talking about something else, probably. Probably talking about more about the tour that she has coming up. So that's actually, that was the last of the interviews at the summit. So tomorrow we have one more interview, and we got a chance to speak with the CEO of the Atlas Society, Jennifer Grossman, and we're going to talk, basically kind of do like a recap of the whole event, kind of talk about some of the things at the summit, and then we're also going to talk about some things about Atlas Shrugged, because kind of talk about the movies, because I don't know if I ever told anyone, but I had a very small part in Atlas Shrugged Part 3, and the Atlas Society was connected with it, and so we kind of talked about the movie a little bit, and my involvement and all that, and then we also talked about about being Christian and being an objectivist. So she kind of expanded on talking about, can someone be a Christian and objectivist? And so like I said, we touched on all of that in the interview, and we will have that for you on tomorrow. So I hope you enjoyed all the interviews at the Young Women's Leadership Summit, and hope everyone that was able to see me, the video stream, and like I said before, on Twitter at least, hopefully I might be able to do both. I kind of like to do the whole video streaming and doing this live. It's so much easier for me to do this live. I don't know why. Like, it seems like when I'm recording it, I always have to like do multiple takes. It just don't come out right or whatever. And I guess when it's live, I can't take. I mean, I guess I could always just stop it and just start over, but I don't want to do that because then people would just see a whole bunch of multiple shows and whatnot. So anyway, enough of my rambling. I did enough rambling in the beginning, but so like I said, we'll be back tomorrow with Jennifer Grossman, and until. Well, I keep wanting to say until like Tuesday or Thursday, but until tomorrow, we will chat with you later.